Rona, and good morning to everyone. Thank you for joining us in this conversation. So we are celebrating the Day of the Seafarer. So it's the International Day of Seafarer and the Day of the Filipino Seafarer. So it's always a very distinct and separate recognition for our Filipino seafarers, considering that they constitute the majority of seafarers on board global trade. So, hindi ko na uulit-ulitin ang importance of our seafarers. Ngayon may naisip ako kasi we always say no shopping, no shipping, no shopping. So I will start with no seafarers, no shipping. And then saka pa lang ang no shipping, no shopping. So ganun kahalaga ang role na ginagampanan ng ating mga seafarers. And today's celebration, or this year's celebration, to recognize, to give tribute and gratitude to our seafarers, the theme is very timely and appropriate, carrying trade as a given, but carrying the risk as well. With all the geopolitical tensions, we started from the COVID in 2020. We had the Russia-Ukraine conflict, and then now with the conflict in the Middle East region. And all of this greatly affected our seafarers. And we still have thousands of ships stranded within the region from Black Sea, Red Sea, Persian Gulf, the Gulf of Oman, and now famous Strait of Hormuz. And marami pa rin po, estimated by the IMO that around still 20,000 stranded in the area, and as we know, 1/4, 25% of which are Filipinos. And for our Philippine registered ships, konti lang, we still have 4 stranded pa rin po in the area. So from February 28, we have 4, and we still have 4 na nandoon pa rin po sa Strait of Hormuz, meaning very few, if meron man, na binibigyan ng safe passage. So again, not only, and that 4 ships alone, we have 81 Filipino seafarers. So we can imagine all other flags with Filipino seafarers, and we are very, very grateful because our DFW and our OWA, they are both very active in ensuring and in closely monitoring the situation and ensuring that those seafarers are stranded, they are provided with what they need and their conditions are okay. But still, we cannot remove that fear, that anxiety, that you don't know if there will be a drone coming from somewhere, and then, or if there will be a physical attack. And based on the IMO record, there are 46 so far physical attacks on ships since March 1. So we are praying and hoping that they have opened the doors of discussion with the parties, and hopefully they would signal the peaceful dialogue and the resumption of sana normal sea operation in that particular important maritime corridor. So today again, we thank the seafarers, our Filipino seafarers, for their courage and for the perseverance and resilience in facing all of these challenges. And the sad part is not only these challenges, and this is the highest risk is to threat to their safety of their lives while they are serving and moving the world. There are still other challenges and risks that are coming, as we all know. We are experiencing in the maritime sector unprecedented transition transitions, technological, environmental, and even economic. So, again, though we don't need June 25 to express our gratitude, we always um, express our gratitude to our seafarers, and we are truly proud of how they bring pride to our nation. So, thank you again, Filipino seafarers, and thank you to each and everyone here.
Thank you, ma'am, Administrator. Next, we have Executive Director Mr. Samuel Batalla to provide us updates from STCW office.
Okay, thank you, and good morning, everyone. And yeah, so far, update for the circuit with STCW office is that we have issued, perhaps you all know that we have issued an advisory extending the certificates, expiring certificates of expiring certificates of seafarers affected by the conflicts in Middle East. No? Nag-issue po tayo, and actually we have processed a request for extension of their certificates around 150 to 200 application seafarers. So meron tayong mga na-extend na certificates na nasa Middle East na hindi makababa pero mag-i-expire na or nag-expire ng kanilang mga certificates. So meron tayong mga na-extend based on our issuance of advisory. Okay? And another thing, tuloy-tuloy naman po tayo, no? With regards sa application through mismo, we have extended the availability of slots to 1 month. Okay? Na-reduce na ho natin ngayon yung waiting time for the appointment slot sa mismo with mga 1 month, 1 week. No? 1 week na lang po tayo ang waiting natin. 1 week to 2 weeks na lang tayo ngayon. Okay? From 3 months, previously 3 months. Na-reduce na po natin yan. Tuloy-tuloy po yung overtime ng ating mga evaluators. Okay? And what else? Yeah, so far, yun naman po, and we have issued, siguro nabasa nyo na rin, we have issued, again, an advisory deferring the implementation of NAMAT to the next academic year. No? So marami pa ho tayong kailangan na ayusin. Okay? That's the reason why we decided to defer the implementation of NAMAT. Okay? Yeah, so far yun na po muna.
Okay, thank you, sir. And now for the final message, we have Manpower Development Service Director to Mr. Jose Louis Banua. Sir?
Good day everyone po, and happy day of the Filipino seafarer to our maritime workforce around the world. As we celebrate the invaluable contributions of Filipino seafarers to the global shipping, the Marina or the Maritime Industry Authority reaffirms its commitment to enhancing the documentation system of our seafarers. Among Marina's key initiatives is the continuing improvement of the issuance of the Seafarer's Identity Document or the SID and the Seafarer's Record Book or SRB, ensuring compliance with international standards while providing faster, more accessible, and more secure services to the seafarers. In line with this, as yung ating counterpart sa international sa ICCW, sa NDS din po, Marina NDS, we have issued advisories. One of which is yung 26-21 Marina Advisory. Ito po yung extending the validity of the SRB, Seafarers Identification and Record Book, SIRB, and as SID of Filipino seafarers on board ships affected by the Middle East crisis. Next of which is Advisory number 2622 on the reestablishment of Seafarers Record Book and Seafarers Identity Document SID Expedite Application System. Another one is Advisory 2624 regarding the exclusive online application of SID and SRB through the eGov.ph app. And the last but not the least, we issued 2629 on the clarificatory guidelines pertaining to penalties imposed on seafarers for violations of Marina Memorandum Circular MD 2024-01. Marina, as our good administrator said a while ago, remains steadfast in supporting the aspirations of our Filipino seafarers and in strengthening the country's position as a leading provider of world-class maritime professionals. Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat.
Thank you, sir.
And now we proceed to the question and answer portion. Members of the media may now raise your question. Kindly introduce yourself and your media organization before asking question po. Maaari niyo pong itaas yung mga placard na nasa table niyo po kung nais niyo pong magtanong.
Hi, Ma'am Sonia. Just a clarification lang po on the recent announcements on the penalties on the mga seafarers natin. Since yung mga official statements niyo po, ano po yung bago on those things? Lalo lang po dun sa one time you actually mentioned about sa penalties po na ibabalik or i-refund sa seafarers natin. And clarification lang po, just to clear about that point. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. As mentioned by Director Lumi, we issued Marina Advisory 2026-29 providing clarification. So, meron talagang confusion. So, aside from the advisory, we also met with the manning agencies. No? So, first, tulungan niyo po kami magbigay ng kaliwanagan sa ating mga marino. So, sa unang panahon po, meron tayong SIRB, Seafarers Identity and Record Book. So, magkasama po sa isang dokumento ang identity at ang record. Starting 2019, to comply with the ILO, kailangan pong nakahiwalay ang identity. So, meron tayong SID for the identity, SID, and SRB for the record. So, dapat po, dahil ang SIRB ay valid for 10 years, nag-stop kami ng 2019. So, marami pa pong SIRB na hawak-hawak ng mga seafarers that are still valid. At nakalagay po sa Marina Circular, kung may SIRB ka, pwede mo pang gamitin. So meaning, hindi mo kailangan kumuha ng SID, SRB. That is enough. SID, the identity is still there, the record book is still there. So SIRB is still valid and acceptable provided hindi pa na-expire. No? Pero kung naubos ang pages, nawala, nasira, siyempre, mag-a-apply na kayo ang mga seafarers natin ng bago, kukuha na sila ng SID plus SRB. So, lahat ng seafarers na bago, starting from 2020, 19 July, ang hawak nila ay SID at SRB. Nagkalituhan. May SIRB na, kumuha pa ng SID. Kasi maganda yung SID, no? It's a smart card. So, nagkataon, maraming dokumento. Now, based sa mga nakausap namin, of course, yung mga penalized, kaya tinawag namin ang mga manning agency. Ang hinahanap ng manning agency, SRB lang. So, doon nagkaroon ng confusion. Dapat, Kung may SIRB, okay. Kung may SID, dapat may SRP. So, kung magka-partner itong dalawa, while yung isa can stand alone. Yan yung confusion. Kaya nagugulat ako, the MC 2024-01, ang tagal na ng 2024-01, biglang pumutok yung penalty. Well, understandable because ang mga SID natin ay 5 years ang validity. Again, pakitulungan ko kami ipaalam sa ating mga seafarers. Gusto po namin gawing 10 years, pero hindi po pwede according to the ILO standards. Kasi po, meron tayong biometrics na ginagamit. So, yung nakalagay sa ILO Convention 185, hindi pwedeng lalampas ng 5 taon. Naririnig ko po ang mga seafarers, nababasa ko po ang kanilang sana sa 10 years. Kami rin po sa Marina gusto namin 20 years, pero hindi nga lang po pwedeng gawin. Okay, so yung kalituhan, pasensya na medyo mahaba, para lang po mabigyan natin ng kalinawan. So nagkataon, ngayong taon na ito ay nag-expire na ang mga SID because 5 years, tumodo ang issuance ng SID in 2021. Dahil alam naman natin, in 2020 may COVID, so ang nag-peak ang issuance ng SID noong 2021. So sila halos ngayon ay expired or expiring 2026. So that's why nag-peak po bigla itong penalty provision because nag-renew sila ng SID. Yes, may mga na-penalize, pero because of that confusion, ang tinignan lang sa tatlong dokumento, pag may isang expired, in-analyze. So that's the confusion. And admittedly, kahit sa Manila, nagkaroon ng kalituhan. So, after po na-aralin, i-review, yes, may i-refund po kami. But, not all. No? So, yung nasa advisory, nilagay natin doon ang mga cases na talagang may penalty at mga cases na walang penalty. So sa ngayon po, meron kaming total 89 seafarers na bibigyan namin ng refund. Ready na po ang pambayad ko. Pero, kinuha po namin ang mga bank accounts o GCash. Wala po kaming record yan. Hindi po ito pwedeng cash refund. Dapat may sistema. So, pinagather pa po, i-confirm. So, doon po sa mga kukontakin ng Marina, so kami ang kukontak no, sa seafarer, ibigay po ang GCash or bank account na sa pangalan ng seafarer. Siyempre, naturalmente, pangalan yan. Hindi naman namin ibibigay kung kanina yung refund. So, sa mga na-penalize po, again, hindi po lahat mabibigyan ng refund. Kumukontak na po yung Marina, doon sa mga na-identify na bibigyan ng refund. So kung makatanggap po kayo ng message sa Marina, ibigay po kaagad ang inyong bank account number o GCash number kung saan natin ibabalik ang 10,000 na penalty. So hindi po lahat. At patuloy po, nandoon po ang provision ng Memorandum Circular 2024-01. Hindi po natin totally tinanggal yung penalty. Pero, humingi po ako ng tulong sa ating mga manning agency. Information dissemination. At sila mismo, huwag pong hanapin ang hindi dapat hinahanap. Merong isang case, kausap ko ay attended ng flag ceremony in the MW last Monday. Doon sa Marina Processing Center, na nakausap akong seafarers. Hinahanapan ng money ng bagong dokumento. Nung i-check ko ang dokumento niya, will expire pa 2028. More than 1 year pa yung booklet, 2028 pa yung kanyang SID. Pero pinipilit pakuhanin ng bago. So sabi ko sa kanya, hindi mo kailangan ng bagong dokumento. So sana po matulungan niyo kami doon sa aspect ng information dissemination. Sana nasagot ko ang Pasensya na medyo mahaba kasi hindi pwedeng direkta doon sa tanong. Para lang malinawan ang ating mga kababayan at ang ating mga manino. Okay na tayo. Thank you, Carmela. I think nauna dito yung isa. Kanina, UNTV ba yun?
Si UNTV muna po, then Harbor Scope, Bombo Radio, and IBC, and Vietnam.
Yes, sir.
Hi, Ma'am Sonia. Sure Gadawan Jr. po from UNTV. Ma'am, hingi lang kami ng update initially. Ilan pong porsyento ng global seafaring workforce yung binubuo pa rin ng mga Pilipino? Just to emphasize kung gaano pa rin po yung significance ng Filipino seafarers sa global maritime.
Yung latest data natin, 2025 yun, no? So around 500 plus. So nasa 30% tayo of the global market. Although hindi ko pa na-check yung latest, ang number kasi noon is 1.6 million sa global market. Pero recently, may nabasa ko sa UNDP, nasa 1.9 na yung global seafarers. So hindi ko pa nakuha yung latest deployment ng DMW. So, nag-range siya lagi sa 25 to 30. Siyempre, plus minus. And kaya lang, of course, with all the developments and the incidents that are happening and unfolding, medyo bumababa ng konti. Kasi because we have naman to ensure mas mahalaga pa rin sa atin ang buhay ng tao. So, kasama kami ng DMW doon sa kanilang polisiya na yung mga seafarers, you have the, I think initially during the medyo mainit, no? Pinagbawal talaga ng DMW yung new deployment sa mga barko na pupunta doon sa war zone-like area, no? But now, medyo, I have seen the recent advisory ni DMW, I think 23, ina-allow na ang crew change even in the area. No? But of course, they are assessing the risk. So, hindi siya blanket approval na okay. Kasi ina-allow na din ng Iranian government yung mga change crew doon sa affected area. No? So, still, hindi ko mabigay yung exact figure now, but we nag-run lang yan sa 25 to 30%. So we are still number one in terms of officer, in terms of ratings, and in terms of other services.
Ma'am, yung pagbaba na sinabi niyo, mga ilang percentage po yung binaba?
Well, na-mention lang sa akin ni Secretary are about 10% sa ating deployment sa mga contracts. But I hope it will recover with the new advisory ng DMW. Of course, kung magre-refuse ang Filipino seafarer based on the policy ni DMW, eh hindi naman pwedeng walang, sabi nga kanina doon, no seafarers, no shipping. No shipping, no shopping. So, yung mga ship owners, hindi naman i-allow din na walang crew ang mga vessels. So, sana with this new advisory, kung mag-refuse kasi yung mga Pilipino, eh wala silang choice kundi lumipat at kumuha ng ibang nationality. And we don't like that. Kasi, although may mga cases before, kumuha sila ibang nationality, bumabalik sila sa mga Filipino seafarers. So, yun ang ano lang doon. No? Walang papantay sa galing, sa sipag, sa attitude ng mga Filipino seafarers. So if ever, I hope that's temporary, and when the situation improves, then they will again go back to the Filipino seafarers if they have to opted to kuha mo na ibang nationality.
Ma'am, last na po my initial questions. Pero po, may mga pinanatripulante pa rin po kasi na stranded po sa Strait of Hormuz. So in effect na ba yung patakaran na bawal na yung Pinoy seamen sa mga barkong dumaraan sa papanganib na ruta?
yung pagkasabi dun sa advisory ng actually DFW, mandate, meron ng mga nandoon sa kanilang advisory, yung mga instances, kumbaga calculated and risk assessed deployment. No? So hindi na siya yung talagang prohibition, total prohibition, but inaalam kung saan, kasi hindi naman lahat talaga ganun ka taas ang risk na may mga attacks. No? So in other areas, inaalam naman, calculated and risk assessed situations. Okay, thank you. So, from Harbor.
Good morning, everybody. Sonia, how do we prepare our international seafarers in view of the introduction of fully automated ships? And number two, any update on any plan of the Marina to increase the number of Philippine ships that will eventually result in the increased employment of Filipino seafarers?
Thank you, Sally. Itong mga question na to, parang applicant ka for administrator, no? Anyway, first, yes, as I mentioned, we are facing the many transitions, no? And essentially is digitalization and automation. So last year, yung mga regulars sa Marina, no, na-mention namin, we have conducted what we call benchmarking activities. Kasi, yes, the NSC 111 concluded its session last May, adopted and approved the MAS code, tinatawag nating Maritime Autonomous Ship Code. But on the part of, that's more on the ships, no? The code. More on the ship as constructed, and what should be on board ship, and what should be on remote operation center, etc. But for the seafarers, we have completed our benchmarking activities because ano natin nalaman, ano bang kailangan ng seafarers? Hindi pa nga tayo nakakita. Ano bang meron sa isang remote operation center or in an autonomous ship? So our team went to Norway. Where else? And Russia. So Norway and Russia to see, to be personally on board autonomous ship and to see the remote operation center. Kung baga, nandun yung barko sa laot, nandito naman yung operation center. So they have seen ano ang mga kailangan kasi dapat yung sa remote operation center si terrorist din. No? Ano bang kailangan ba nilang additional training? Definitely, literacy, no? On digitalization, technology, and everything. So from that benchmarking, we also have drafted, although sabi namin yung joint CHED Marina circular on the BSMTB SMRE, sabi natin last time, yes, we will issue the Marina circular, but not much difference or revision on the substantive portion, no, or the technical side. But we have submitted it to the board, and hopefully by July board, it will be approved. We included na sa course yung electives, no, ng digitalization and decarbonization. So dapat sa education pa lang, we start the literacy, digital literacy. No? Kasi parang hindi pagdating mo doon lahat gadget na, ma-shock, technology, shock na. Paano gagamitin ang lahat mo? Ma-overwhelm ka with all the modern equipment and gadgets. So yun yung first benchmarking, second is the initial electives. So hopefully, yun muna ay starting point. No? Hindi pa namin sinasabi na yun. It's just the start and we are still studying. Ano pa yung mga, kumbaga, advanced pa. Kasi ito generic lang to, no? yung starting point natin. So meron man susunod na mas advanced and specific na on the operation. Kasi alam natin, very few pa lang naman. And Norway is one and Russia is another na talagang may commercial operation ang autonomous unmanned ship pa yan. Unmanned ship. So Norway and Russia pa lang so far. Ang Japan, we haven't been to Japan. No? So Norway and Russia, and of course, maybe schedule na gawin to Japan. Sila yung talaga may commercial operation na as of now. No? Short distance, cargo and passenger. Mostly cargo pa lang. No? So dahil hindi pa nga ito widely commercially used, kumbaga sinusubukan yung mga cargo muna para the risk of in terms of safety nandoon na. So in some discussions, sinasabi naman na hindi totally ma-replace, no? Ang mga seafarers, but that would enhance the way on how they operate in terms of safety, efficiency, and of course, environment protection. Kasi tutulungan ka ng mga machine na mag-calculate, mag-isip kung may AI na doon. So, will make the lives of the seafarers easier than totally walang automation. Similar din sa atin sa office, workspace, diba? Noon, hirap tayo, puro typewriter. Ngayon, from cell phone, we can print, we can send, we can email, and it makes our work easier. So we hope that would be the same. Okay. On the second question on the Philippine ships, no? So you're pertaining to the Philippine Registry. So yan yung meron tayong bill na nasa Congress pa din. We're still waiting if it will be tabled or scheduled in the committee. So wala pa po tayong ganong update on that. Except, dun sa isang bill natin, if I may, yung SBSR bill natin, I heard parang iti-table na siya pag nag-start ulit ang Committee on Faith naman kasi yun. So another committee. Hopefully, na-table na for discussion ng mga bills naman. I hope I answered the question. Thank you. I said that si ano muna. Yes.
Hello, good morning to everyone. Silly Grida from Bogorani, Philippines po. So for my question, this is in connection with the series of attacks on ships and Middle East and Africa po. Meron po bang takot or banta ng same case sa part po ng Filipino seafarers? And another thing po, or another question in connection with that po is, ano po yung dagdag na protection or, assurance na binibigay nyo sa seafarers natin po in connection with that situation po? Thank you.
Thank you. Ang hirap, no? First and foremost, it's not within Marina's mandate, no? We cannot say na sure, kasi nandun pa rin yung threat, no? Hanggat hindi nagkakaayos yung mga parties na may conflict, the threat exists. And I think the most recent one, June 15, tanker Setibelio, a Palau flag vessel was attacked by a military ship and resulted to fire on board and 3 dead Indian seafarers. So, kumbaga, the threat is still present. Hindi natin maalis until nagkasundo na po yung mga dapat magkasundo. At ma-open na ulit ang that particular corridor. So, hindi po tayo ang makapag-aalis ng threat na yan nandoon and existing. That's why we are monitoring. But sa IMO, very active po ang IMO in trying to negotiate, no, and towards a peaceful resolution and agreement. I think during the Maritime Safety Committee, meron silang mga tinatawag na Committee of the Region. So there are member states na nagtutulong-tulong, kumbaga, this is a collaborative effort of the many member states to ensure and to restore the freedom of navigation and the safe passage of ships. So, yun nga yung measure ng DMW before that prohibited the deployment. Pero yung mga nandun doon, for us, for the Philippine registered ships, we continue to monitor their situation through the ship owner and the manning agency to ensure na yung mga provisions and kailangan ay napuprovide sa kanila. So far, maayos naman yung katayuan nila. Pero given na parang sa atin, di natin talaga masabing maayos, no? Kasi araw-araw parang bawat minuto kabado tayo, ano bang mangyayari. Diba? So nandoon pa rin yun. That's our challenge, no? Kahit anong sabihin natin mga words, kahit anong coordination natin, hanggat din natin sila naaalis to, nadadala sila sa isang area na super safe, hindi natin masasabi na maayos ang kalagayan nila because the fear exists, the anxiety exists, and all other mental health issues, no? Imagine if kung tayo ang nasa ganung kalagayan, di ba? Bawat segundo, hindi na tayo siguro makatulog, no? So, hindi natin masisigurado, pero yung protection, DMW is doing a very good job. And of course, kinakalibrate din nila yung policy as related kanina dun sa tanong ng UNTV. Hindi natin din totally, kasi pag nawala sa Pilipino, so binabalansin natin. But we are with the DMW in prioritizing the lives of our seafarers. Thank you. Sinusunod.
For next question, ma'am, IBC, then Milionario, and TV5, and then ma'am, Sir Eloy muna po, bago ang after ni Milionario, Sir Eloy, TV5, DW, and ma'am.
Good morning po, Administrator Sonia. Victor Leontino po, IBC 13. Paano nyo na lang po tinitiyak o ng Marina, paano tinitiyak ng Marina na hindi ho mabablacklist ng mga manning agency itong mga Filipino seafarers natin na tumatanging maglaya tungo sa mga warlike and high-risk zone tulad po nitong Red Sea at Strait of Hormuz. And since Day of Filipino Seafarer po ngayon, gaano din po kalaki itong ambag ng ating mga Filipino seafarers sa ekonomiya ng ating bansa?
Medyo hindi ko yata masasagot ito, no? Kasi manning and recruitment agencies are under the jurisdiction of the DMW. But I am sure, hindi pagbabayaan ni Secretary Hans na mawalan ng trabaho, no? So, hindi ko na-update ang sarili ko sa polisiya ng DMW, but I'm sure with Secretary Hans, ay hindi niya i-allow na mangyayari ito sa seafarers, no? In terms of the contribution to the economy, I think it's an average of ngayon 8 billion, close to 8 billion US dollars, no? So malaki. And in fact, the study conducted by pinagawa ng ALMA, no, di ba? UAAP and ALMA is how much? 1.6 trillion pesos, no? So, malaki talaga yung contribution ng ating seafarers sa economy. And ito ano pa lang to, have direct remittances. Yung kay ALMA and UAAP is kasama yung mga multiplier effect, no? Sa families and all others. So, masasabi na, that's why kahit si Presidente, talagang ang mga seafarers ay malapit sa puso ng Presidente. Kaya ang instruction talaga ay siguraduhin ang employment at kung ma-employ, siguraduhin ang kapakanan ng ating mga seafarers. So, yun. Sorry, hindi ko sakop yung sa mga money aliens. Yes, thank you. Next please.
Good morning po, ma'am. May Razon po from Billionaire News Channel. Ma'am, kanina po ang haba ng pila sa labas and we are able to ask people lining up na kung bakit sila nandito and sabi nila gusto talaga nila magkaroon or mag-pursue na industry sa seafaring. So, ma'am, every year may gumagraduate po from Marina na hindi nagpo-pursue sa industry or ng career. Ano po kaya yung assessment niyo kung ano yung dahilan kung bakit hindi sila natutuloy? And may programs po ba ang Marina to encourage marine-related degree to pursue their career or possible kaya mas mapadaling yung pagpasok nila?
Another difficult question. Yes, ilan ang students natin every year? 30,000 intake, no? So, that's incoming. Imagine, kung sa ibang bansa, kailangan pa nilang mag-subsidize, magbigay ng incentive para lang maging seafarer. Sa Pilipinas, parang gusto ko nang ilimit, no? Kasi, kumbaga, oversupply. If we will look at the Marina records, we have seafarers with valid identity document of around 1.2 million. No? Based also on the records of Marina, we have certificated, meaning certificated. They have the certificates needed to be employed abroad. No, is more than 876,000. So from 1.2, 800 yung qualified for international, but the deployment is less than 600. So marami talagang excess, no? Kung titingnan natin. So that's why siguro, hindi na i-employ yung iba. Marami talaga ang seafarers. So yun siguro yung mga titingnan naming aspeto para yung mga maraming estudyante, madaming ratings, ratings. Ang ratings natin ay out of the 876,000 certificated, ang ratings natin ay 710,000 plus. No? So, ang objective ni Marina is yung mga ratings sana, matulungan natin mag-level up to be officers. Kasi, ang in-demand talaga and may projection of shortage would be the officers. So doon sa area yun kami tumututo para hindi na namin, wala sa program namin na padagdalin pa maraming seafarers. But those na nandyan na, ay dapat nga mabigyan ng employer at kung posible, mag-level up. Para mas dadami, ang laki ng disparity ng officers, ilang percentage lang yan. 100,000 plus as compared to 700,000 plus. So ang potential ay napakalaki para maraming kayang ship officers in the global shipping. So mas doon ang concentration ni Marina. Tulungan natin na makapag naging opisyal, mas maraming opisyal than ratings.
Lastly na lang po, ngayon pong Filipino Seafarer Day. Ano na lang po yung message natin sa mga nangangarap pa rin na mag-pursue sa industry and sa mga message natin sa mga existing na. Thank you po.
So sa mga existing muna, no, yun nga, ang Marina po ay hindi po kontrabida sa buhay nyo. Kami po ay sinisigurado na kayo ay matatanggap sa pandaigdigang maritima. Yan po ang aming trabaho. Kasi kung hindi na po kami magtatrabaho, hindi po kayo matatanggap sa mga barko sa international shipping. Yan po ang aming chine-check, yan ang aming sinisigurado. At ang aming pong mga programa, ay talaga naman gusto namin makatulong, maging madali, maging maalwan, maging seamless ang inyong mga processes. Kaya po, nag-umpisa na tayo sa atin mismo at sa mga digitalization. At kasama po doon, kapag nilaunch na natin ng ICS Verify o yung sistema ng International Chamber of Shipping and yung pang-iba naming partnership with other countries, ma-achieve din po natin yung talagang paperless. In the true sense of the word, paperless. Wala nang dala-dalang papel. No? In the future, we will also implement, like itong mga booklet na pinag-aawayan natin ngayon, gusto nila na namin gawin niyang digital and electronic format. So, hindi po humihinto ang Marina sa pag-iisip ng mga programa at proyekto na magpapadali sana sa inyong mga processes at sisigurado ng inyong deployment. Sa mga interesadong maging marino, maging mandalagat, thank you for that interest. No? Pero ang masasabi ko lang, ang pagiging marino o mandalagat ay hindi simpleng trabaho po. No? Ito po ay isang trabaho na nangangailangan ng utak, puso at physical fitness. No? Hindi madali. At lalong-lalo na yung emotional level natin. No? Kasi mahirap pong magtrabaho sa gitna ng laot. Kayo-kayo lang, ilan lang kayo itong nagkikita-kita. Sa panahon ngayon, mga machine pa yung mga kausap nyo doon. No? So, hindi madali ang buhay sa barko. So, kailangan ng tatag, ng loob, tapang, at sana po, yung kayo din sa sarili ay isipin ang safety. Always, safety ang nangunguna. Safety ng nila mismo, no? Kasi ang lahat ng requirements, ito ay protection, safety of life at sea. And of course, our environment. So, pag-isipang mabuti kasi hindi po madaling maging seafarers. Pero once you are a seafarer, we will be proud para sa inyong lahat at sa ginagawa nyo at gagawin nyo at contribution nyo, hindi lang sa Pilipinas, kundi sa buong mundo. Napakalaki po. Sabi ko nga, pag wala kayo, edi wala ng shipping. Pag walang seafarers, walang shipping. At wala tayo ng lahat ng ito na meron tayo dito. Magkaroon man, siguro napakamahal, no? Or napaka-konti ng supply. So again, it's a very rewarding but still challenging profession. Thank you. So far. Yes, Elway.
Elway Kalimos po, BC News and Maritime Horizon. Ma'am, what is Marina's gift to Filipino seafarers on the day of the International Seafarers Day? Ano yung regalo sa
Parang hindi kami
Parang yung Pilipino.
Parang hindi kami nakapaghanda ng regalo. Actually, hindi namin, yung nasabi ko kanina, hindi namin kailangan yung hintayin until 25. No? Ang iniisip namin, patuloy na pag-i-improve ng sistema. At sa ating mga marino, hindi pinakikinggan po namin kayo. Marami na po ang ginagawa naming pagbabago. Lahat ng mga sinasabi nyo, tinitignan namin kung paano ma-address. No? Ang objective, of course, si Sam siguro later, yun nga, paano na yung sa certificate. Kasi ang biggest challenge is the mere number. No? The mere number of, some may provide the number of applications daily, the number of certificates issued, at ganun din si Director Louie, para lang magkaroon tayo ng idea, bakit ba ganito tagal, ganito kahirap, ginagawa namin. And I really commend the people of Director Louie and our regional offices and our team from the STCW office. Wala po silang holiday. Wala po silang Sabadong pahinga. They are working just to give these services. Sila umuwi alas 8, alas 9. Pero hindi po pwedeng ipagpatuloy yan ng mahabang panahon because I also have to look after my people. But sa panahon ngayon, we're really doing our best to improve. I hope we will look at the solution soonest. Sam, if you could add lang, para lang makonteksto natin, no? Bakit? So, sa gift, wala akong a gift nicely wrapped for seafarers today, but it's a commitment to continuously improve our services and to ensure na ang kanilang susunod na mga pagkakataon ay wala ng mga papel na dala-dala. All digital and seamless sana. Hindi lang namin ma-online yung ID kasi bawal. Kailangan i-capture yung biometrics. But with technology, hindi natin alam, baka makakuha din tayo ng technology na makapwede na rin online. No? But wala pa kaming budget, so at saka i-research pa namin. Sige, Sam.
Thank you, Madam Administrator. Yes, tama po kayo. Yung talagang hit na masasabi natin na pwede natin ibigay ng Marina sa ating mga seafarers is the commitment. To provide efficient public service po sa kanila. Tuloy-tuloy po itong ginagawa natin and nabanggit din po kanina. Yung ating mga frontliners, yung mga nagpa-process ng mga documents ng ating mga seafarers ay wala akong pahinayang. No? Wala ko silang holiday. Continuously, nag-overtime sila daily. And kahit sa Saturday, nag-overtime po ang mga yun. No? Para po ma-process lahat ang applications na pinafile ng ating mga seafarers. Daily, our evaluators, our certification division is receiving between 3,000 to 3,500 applications a day. Application pa lang po yun. And sa isang application, merong 4-5 certificates na nire-request. So yun po yung ginagawa natin daily. And but rest assured na patuloy pa po natin i-improve yung ating system. Alam natin, walang perfecto na sistema. No? Marami pa rin po tayong nakikita na kakulangan. Pero ang kagandahan po nito ay patuloy nating ini-improve yung system natin. Currently, ang European Union, through the European Commission, ay tuloy-tuloy na nagbibigay sa atin ng technical assistance to continuously improve yung ating maritime education and training system. Okay. Ang kay Marina po kasi, ang role ni Marina is to ensure yung competence ng ating seafarers para continuously maging competent and qualified sila to go on board vessels. Yun po yung kailangan natin i-ensure. Yun ang ginagawa ni Marina. No? Kasi ang ating pinaka-objective dito is to sustain the status of the Philippines as one of the major, kung hindi man o tayo as the number one, as the number one, as the lead supplier of Filipino seafarers. So yun po yung ating ginagawa right now. So, wag po sana natin isipin na itong mga training requirements na nire-require natin for our seafarers ay pahirap. Ito ho ay para lang masigurado. Ito ho ay dahil pinagpapasihan tayo. Ito ho ay naayon sa STCW Convention na kung saan siya yung international standards para sa ating mga education, training, and certification para sa seafarers. Hindi po tayo nag-iimbento ng bagong mga training. Lahat po yan ay naayon sa STCW Convention at kaya po natin pinapatupad para po masigurado na ang ating mga seafarers ay talagang qualified and competent to do their task on board the vessel. At patuloy po silang maging in demand sa employment. Okay. Marami pa po tayong kailangan gawin. Okay. But ang masasabi lang po namin, the commitment, dedication ng ating mga evaluators, ng ating mga empleyado ay nariyan po. At patuloy ko kami magtatrabaho para sa ating mga seafarers.
Thank you, Sam. May i-add lang ako. sinasabi na in mga training no, in accordance to the standards. Ang kagandahan po ngayon, ang Pilipinas or ang Marina, we are allowed in the IMO. So, kumbaga, may inputs po tayo. Nagsubmit sila ng mga proposal, meron tayong mga contribution kung sa pag-develop ng mga standards, no? Unlike before, ina-adapt, ini-implement natin, tapos hirap na hirap tayo sa implementation. This time, we are part of the crafting. That's the difference. No? So, we are allowed there doon sa IMO.
Follow up lang dun sa earlier na-mention mo.
Sandali lang, nasa na ba, sino na ba? Baka second round yung mga follow-up kasi nakalipat na. Let's give equal time to others, please. So, pag may time pa, saka pa-ikot ng second round. No? Pasensya na. Kasi may mahaba pa yung pila. So, pag may second round, then we can allow. No? So, let's hear muna yung sorry. Thank you.
Question from TV5.
Hi ma'am, good morning. Gerardo Lapena from TV5. Ma'am, you've mentioned kanina 81 yung stranded ngayon sa Strait of Hormuz. Kumusta po yung kalagayan nila ngayon? And anywhere po nakausap na sila since partially open na ngayon yung Strait of Hormuz?
Yung 81, sila ay on board Philippine flag ships. No? Marami pang stranded na Pilipino doon and other seafarers. Well, they are still there. Kasi-check lang natin sa kanilang location. But actually in April, if you recall, may announcement si Secretary Lazaro, no? That we will be allowed safe passage na. And in fact, we provided na all the requirements of the Iranian government for their safe passage. Unfortunately, merong ibang mga conditions na we cannot really give in. No? Kasi we join the international community in preserving the freedom of navigation. So, in short, hindi sila na-allow. Just recently, I think, meron na ulit na negotiation. We provided again to the ship owner, syempre, and charterer, bigay ulit ng mga necessary information. So, wala pa kaming feedback. Hopefully positive at talagang totoo na makausap sila from the area. So, as of now, they are still there. But we are assured of the charterer through the owner na maayos naman ang kanilang kalagayan. Except na lang yung fear and anxiety of being there. So, in terms of provision, in terms of food, water, communication, wala namang problema. Yun nga lang, siyempre, nandun sila sa stressful situation, hindi natin matanggal. So, hopefully, in the next few days, magkaroon ng positive developments. Thank you.
Next question from DWW.
Hello, ma'am. Good morning, Ma'am Sonia. Gina Maki po from DWW. Tatlong W yung kanina, isa lang. Sunod, dalawa. Idadagdag ko na rin po yung 774. Anyway, ang dami pong challenge sa Marina. And here we come to from the Commission on Higher Education. Yung pamumuno po, pangangasiwa po sa mga maritime school ay sa inyo na po ipapaubaya. How would you handle it po? Yung pong curriculum, may mababago pa, may mababago. Paano itataas ang standard, ang kwalidad ng mga Pilipino seafarer, considering na dito sa Commission on Higher Education na nakapokus talaga sila sa pagbibigay ng schooling sa ating mga seafarer, ay parang sinasabing ang bababa nga ng quality, di ba, bumabagsak. Tapos po, I understand there is also a technical panel for maritime education. Ano po ang magiging papel nito ngayon? At ano po bang technical panel for maritime education ay nagpa-function po ba to? Operational po ba to? Ano na po yung mga latest, yung po mga development sa panel? Yung pong susunod na Inquiry, mamaya na po.
Parang ang hirap ng mga tanong today. Ano bang meron na init? Anyway, yes, we assume the function. No? So, in the first question on the curriculum, wala po tayong babaguhin. Yan po yung isang bagay na gusto kong tuldukan, no? Yung mabago-bago. Dapat sigurado, pag nag-implement sigurado at kung babaguhin man ay talagang kailangan baguhin because there are major revisions. Like kapag naipasa ang tinatapos na STCW review and revision, definitely malaking pagbabago. I-overhaul natin ang curriculum. Pero meantime, wala po kaming binabago. Kanina na-mention ko, yung electives, hindi po yun bago. Pero dun sa ilalabas naming policy, standards, and guidelines, lalagyan na po namin ng ano-ano dapat yung covered sa electives. Kasi before, tama ba sa nakalagay, the school can have the electives, pero ngayon, sasabihin namin ng electives nyo ay digital literacy, basic general knowledge on alternative fuel, etc., etc. So, isa yun, no? As to the quality, it will always, that's why we have the European Union Scope Seafarers Project. Tinutulungan tayo to improve our system. Hindi man magandang sabihin, kailangan natin ng mahigpit na implementation, totok na implementation. Kasi nandyan po lahat ng ating polisiya, standards, guidelines, regulations, actual. Paano ba ini-implement ng bawat isa, no? From the facility na may maintain. Siyempre, pag darating si Marina Chen, maayos lahat. Pag talikod ni Marina Chen, posibleng hindi na maayos, di ba? Lalo na kung babalik kami after 3 years. So, ang daming nagaganap sa 3 years. So, yung mga areas na yan, aming babaguhin. Lilimitan natin ang monitoring. At hindi kami mag-a-announce ng monitoring namin. Kasi naghahanda, no? Pag naghahanda, maayos. Pag talikod, hindi na maayos. So, ang punta namin dyan, unannounced, yan yung mga pagbabago, although hindi pa namin na-issue, no? Dumadaan pa sa consultation, yung mag-check kami, na tama ba ang facility, updated ba, working ba, operational ba, ang assessor ba, ang trainer ba, ay siya ang dapat na trainer, ang assessor ba nagagawa sa tama. Maraming aspeto, napakatrabaho, napakahirap po. No, so yan ang ating tututukan para masigurado natin na kung anong nasusulat ay ginagawa at hindi ginagawa lang pag tumitingin ang Marina. Ginagawa as a way of life, araw-araw, walang nababago. So yun po yung malaking challenge sa aming opisina. Pero natulungan naman kami, may August siguro meron kami mga additional tao. And I will take the opportunity as well. Magtingin po kayo sa aming mga hiring. Kasi yung iba walang mga nag-apply. Join us in Marina to help our seafarers. Lalo na sa mga seafarers po na ayaw nang sumakay. Baka po dito na kayo sa lupa magtrabaho and we will welcome you in Marina. So meron po kaming mga pinablish na mga positions. Tapos walang applicant. So, paano? Pero of course, hindi ganun ka-comparable ang salary namin. That's the sad part. So, anong sunod na tanong, TPME? So, sa ngayon po, dahil ang kung noon ay TPME, recommendation, decision by the Commission and Bank. Sa Marina po, based on our structure, any decision on policy concern is through the Marina Board. So, ang equivalent ng Commission and Bank nung nalipat sa Marina ay Marina Board. So, meron po kaming board. Ang mag-create po tayo ng bagong grupo that will recommend to the Marina Board. Di muna po namin in-announce kasi may mga komentaryo pa po ang board member namin. Kapag na-approve po, then we will announce and we will make sure na meron pong representation ang mga dapat na nag-uupo doon. So they will recommend and then the board will decide. If you want to know the board membership, nasa website po namin yan. Pero meron po tayo dyang representative from the Office of the President, DOTR, DTI, DMW, DBP, PPA, PCG, DFA, CHED. So yung composition po ng board ay high level and all decisions will be conducted by the approved or decided by the board. Sa ngayon po, wala munang, I was the chair of the TPME, pero dahil nga po with the law, nakasuspend po muna yung ating, wala pong TPME. So, minamadali na po natin itong MC and then we'll start with the new team, with the new group to take charge of all the review and recommendation for the Marina Board. Thank you. Wala ka ng additional, sabi mo kanina meron pa. Wala na, okay na. Hindi, kasi isang round na sila, lahat ng tanong ibigay na. And then,
next po muna natin ang
Okay,
from
sige.
ate para po.
Sige. Thank you.
Alis na po kasi ako. Hindi ko po alam kung kay Sir Batalla itong question ko. Regarding po sa mga cadetship, sa cadet, na nakasampa na po sa mga international or domestic. Kasi ang cadet po hanggang 9 months lang ang kontrata. So kailangan po nilang buuin yung 1 year. So may 3 months silang matitira. May programa po ba tayo para sa kanila na pwede nilang i-enroll po kasi nila yung remaining 3 months. Tapos isasampa nila. Yung hindi po sila mahirapan na sana maghanap ng money agency na pwede nilang applyan para maisampa nila yung remaining 3 months, mabuo yung 1 year.
Thank you po sa question. Actually talagang marami po yan. Considering that the contract right now is parang hanggang 9 or 10 months na lang. Okay? So talagang may kulang pagdating sa seagoing service requirement. Okay? Now, yung iba po ay sumasakay dito sa domestic para makompleto yung 12 months. Okay? But currently, as mentioned earlier, meron tayong experts from European Union providing us assistance to improve the system. At isa sa pinag-uusapan namin ay ano bang equivalency na training, practical training para doon sa seagoing service. So we are talking right now about that. Yung pwede hong sa shipyard, if yung po ay nasa marine engineering yung bata, they can complete, okay, yun sa shipyard, okay. So depende po kung ano yung task na hindi niya pa nagawa doon sa sasakay niya. Makikita mo natin yan sa training record book, and that's actually the responsibility and obligation of schools to evaluate and assess ano ba ang kulang pa ng bata para makapag-graduate. So magbabase po yan doon sa evaluation and assessment ng school doon sa mga returning cadets. Okay? Makikita po yan. So kailangan si school, it's the responsibility of the school to ensure na makukumpleto po yun. Okay? So Marina will be issuing a policy tungkol po yan. Okay? But sabi ko nga, this one is part of the project that we are working on with the European Commission. Okay? So, hindi pa rin po ito malalabas kaagad, pero right now, ang karamihan na ginagawa is yung mga bata ay sumasakay sa domestic, okay, para doon sa remaining months ng kanyang to complete their seagoing service. Meron tayong ginagawa. We are currently working on identifying ano yung mga equivalent practical training to commensurate o to compensate po yung kakulangan doon sa seagoing service.
Yung sa marine transportation, sir. Sabi nyo kasi kanina pagka marine engineering, pwede sa
Sige,
sa marine transportation, actually, isa po yan sa bino-workout din natin ngayon. Okay? Yung equivalency ng ng seagoing service into a simulator-based training. Okay. So, ibig sabihin po, kung may kulang sila, pwede po siguro sa simulator na lang siya gawin. Okay. So, kasama po yan doon sa ginagawa natin right now na equivalent practical training para sa mga seagoing service requirement.
Thank you, sir.
If I may add, medyo kasi to, kailangan bago kung mag-implement man kami ng changes, sigurado, no? Kasi baka mamaya, minamadali natin, tapos in the end, hindi pala ma-acceptable sa international standards. But together with doing the bench marking activity na ginawa ng mga taga-STCW, the United Kingdom kasi is implementing yung equivalent sa simulator training. So yun yung kumbaga binibench natin na ay pwede pala. So ano-ano yung mga pwede na sa simulator. Kasi dapat klaro, hindi pwede, okay, 9 months ka sa PERCO, 3 months ka sa simulator, tapos wala kaming ibibigay na guidelines. Ano bang mga gagawin? Ano bang coverage sa simulator? So yan yung pinag-aaralan ng STCW and sa tulong ng ating European consultants and experts. We will also look into, kasi meron din tayong paper dyan, no? So kumbaga interim, kung pwede na natin ma-implement, because we have a paper na the same din yung proposal natin sa IMO para siguradong nandoon na sa revised convention if ever. Pero yung machine shop hours ay pwede nang i-implement, no? So yung kanina sinasabi ni Sam, yung sa engineering, pwede na yun kasi nasa convention naman yung machine shop hours, no? So yun nga lang, mas bibigyan namin ng detalye guidelines kung paano. So yung sa mga engine room cadets, mas madaling mabibigyan through the machine shop hours na pwede nating identify din na pwede yan doon sa ating mga shipyards, no? While vessels are on dry dock. So, hindi pa lang tapos. Thank you.
Next question, ma'am, from Ma'am Narisa from Flash TV.
Happy morning. I'm Miss Horizon Chaser ng Flash TV po. Day of the Filipino Seafarer po today. And ang gaganda po ng programa na banggit na halos lahat. Ang tanong, ang pondo po ba natin ay sapat? At sino po ba ako pwede pang tumulong para po mas lalong maganap yung magagandang programa ito? Kasi lahat naka-benefits po ang ating seafarers. Thank you.
Ay, napakagandang tanong. Thank you for that question. Sa ngayon, medyo sapat. Pero dahil nga, itong isang problema sa mga, I want to have more equipment. Kasi like itong sa SEA, very capital intensive, no? Kasi high-tech yung ating ginagawa. So, sapat sana, pero to improve pa, kailangan kong dagdagan ng equipment na bago. No? So, yun naman ay sa susunod na budget ay kasama. Pero dahil ngayon, may mga problema na, we're trying to talk with the DBM on how we can use some of the other funds. So, natutuwa naman din kami kasi through the years since 2023, at we used to have 800 million budget. Kapos, very kapos, kulang na kulang. Sa ngayon po ay nasa 1.4 billion na ang budget ng Marina. And we hope na lalaki pa next year kasi marami po kaming sinama na ng mga ICT requirements. So, para maitodo natin talaga yung digitalization. Yun kasi malaki may tutulong. And of course, yung human resource, yung matagal nyo na tinatanong-tanong sa akin, sa wakas na bigay-biga. Yun nga lang, nag-post kami ng mga filling up, kung konti ang takers. So, by August or late July, mag-operationalize na ang Office of the Deputy Administrator for Education, Training, and Certification. Pero medyo kulang kasi mag-post ulit kami nagre-republish ng mga positions na walang nag-apply. So, sa mga nandiyan, nakikinig, nanonood, silip-silipin niyo po yung website ng Marina, meron po kami. And minsan, pinapublish na rin namin sa social media, no? Para po, baka gusto niyo mag-join at tumulong sa ating mga seafarers. You are welcome po to join Marina. Thank you.
Next question from Manila Times, ma'am. Pero ma'am, last 3 question na lang po tayo para po.
Tsaka round 2 na ito. Okay, so 3 lang na second round. So, syempre si Eloy, si Carmela, at saka si... Okay.
Hi ma'am, this has been asked a lot of times, even before your time po dun sa Marina. The fact of the matter is, ang dami po natin, because I remember kanina may nagtanong about ang dami nating graduates. Konti lang yung naha-hire sa ratings po. We have an overflowing number of ratings, pero limited pa rin yung ating officers. I think it goes back po dun kasi, in case you don't know, yung mga schools, hindi po sila considered as graduates unless may OJT sila na 1 year. And that has always been the problem with the industry here. Ma'am, are there some, I know it doesn't exactly rest on your shoulders or Marina for the longest time. This is a perpetual problem I see for decades na din. Yung schools po ba and shipping agencies, kasi kulang po yung barko natin dito where they can have their OJT eh. What do you think, ma'am? May idea po ba kayo what was the last government effort para to help with this particular problem po? Imagine, I actually interviewed a mother before and he was so happy only to realize na hindi pa talaga fully graduate yung anak niya. Although umakyat na siya sa stage and he was crying because he thought makakain na. That broke my heart. Yung mga ganong scenario mo. Thank you. Last question.
Yes, actually it also rests on our shoulders. No? So merong mga initiative, hindi pa namin masigurado, inaaral, no? But isang option kasi is traineeship. But again, tulad nung simulator equivalent training, we have to be specific. Paano, gaano, at ang pinaka-challenging dyan sino gastos. We all know, napakamahal magpatakbo ng isang barko. So, that's the biggest challenge, no? Kung magawa man, although tinitingnan namin yung mga technical aspect, paano ang structure, onboard training, onboard training ship. Kasi, definitely, the training ship should not be nasa ankorahe, no? Nakikita nyo naman, Korean, Norwegian tall ship, nakakarating dito, Mexican, training ship yan, no? Mga kadete ang daladala. So, meaning, training ship, pero mag-navigate, no? Ako, I personally prefer na ang onboard training is a training ship. Kasi pwede mong gawin lahat dyan, no? Ang estudyante, pahawakan mo mismo ng pagmaniobra, siya mismo magmaniobra ng barko, no? Kasi ngayon, yung OBT natin on board, tumitingin lang naman sila dun eh. Never nilang natatry ang actual task, no? Ang buti nga kung nakakatingin-tingin sila lahat, yung iba baka nagtitimpla ng kape. So, I mean, and this is not only an issue or problem in the Philippines. Even Brazil and Mexico submitted papers on the lack of the bottoms, no? Because this is training, even international ships, siguro mataas na yung 6 na kadete, no? Usually 4, 2 deck, 2 engine. Kasi trainees yun eh. Hindi naman yung magtatrabaho. Hindi gagawa ng regular work. So, yes, pinapahito na tayo. Inaya ng battery. Hindi mo na galawag na kami kalatuhan sa kanya. Anyway, so inaaral namin, hindi ko pala mag-this is So, yun nga, tinitingnan natin, no? Pero hindi pa kami makapagbigay ng isang solusyon ngayon. Pero that's part of the plan and that's part of nagpapatulong din tayo dito sa scope project. How sa other countries kasi hindi tayo makagaya kasi subsidized. Bawa, traineeship, government traineeship, all the gastos sa gobyerno. Hindi maganda. Ang Marina, wala naman kami ganun financial capacity, no? So anyway, rest assured, hindi pa rin nawawala yan. Kasi that's, kung sinabi ko nila, gusto natin maraming officers, yan ay pag na-address natin, saka pa lang natin ma-achieve yung goal na madagdagan yung mga officers. So, wala pa kaming mabigay na medyo mas concrete na plan ngayon, pero pinag-uusapan kasama dun sa sasama natin dun sa master plan ng European project para matulungan tayo how we can address that. Kasi sayang din yung mga traineeships. Kaya lang yung gastos ng operation. So magiging very expensive ang profession, ang education. So yun pa yung mga tinitingnan natin. Thank you. Next. Second to the last. Last na. Okay.
Si Sir Sam yung bilhin kanina na from 2 months, na-reduce na yung availability ng mga slots to 1 week. Kailan po nag-start yun?
Yung appointment na 1 week to 2 weeks na lang ngayon.
From 2 weeks, from 2 months, na-reduce. Sabi mo kanina, sir.
Na-reduce na po. Tama po kayo. Na-reduce na po yan sa between 1 week to 2 weeks. Okay? So, from 3 months. So, right now, gano'n na po yung waiting time natin for the appointment slots sa mismo system. Okay? And our daily slots available is 3,000 to 3,500. Daily po yan. So yun po yung tinatanggap natin at yan ang pinaprocess natin.
From 2 months na lang, ang waiting period, 1 week na lang dyan.
1 week na lang po ang waiting natin. 1 week to 2 weeks. Okay. Depende po kung kompleto yung documentary requirements, we don't have problem. And every time po, nag-ano tayo, humingi na tayo. So, pag hindi masyado at kunti lang yung application, we make sure na kumukuha tayo para mabawasan yung waiting time. Okay. So, nag-a-advance evaluation na po tayo. Yung ganun po yung ginagawa natin kung bakit siya nabawasan. So, kaya po, tuloy-tuloy ang ating overtime ng ating mga evaluators.
Sige, ako na lang magdagdag. Hindi na tinanong yung sa SID. Actually, yun yung mas mahaba. No? We are still addressing that. Nakatulong. So, yung mga issue po natin ng mga lagayan, binibenta, ang slot, natanggal po natin. Ako personally, hinamol ko yung nandun sa harap ng building. So, wala nakatayo sa harap ng building para manamantala at offer ng kung ano-anong servisyo sa mga seafarers. So, yung pagkalipat sa Igo, napakaganda kasi hindi na pwedeng ibinibenta ng ibang tao. Kasi ginagawa, silang mangbubook ng marami tapos sa kanila ito. So, kung seafarer ka, ikaw lang ang pwedeng mag-appoint, magkuha ng slot. No? So, nakatulong. Pero still, we are not happy. Sa ngayon, ang ginagawa naman namin, dahil ito, transparent naman tayo, makikita nyo yung schedule siguro pag nag-book kayo mga October, November na. Pero, na araw-araw nagka-calibrate kami, no? So, yung mga, most of them, nag-e-expedite. So, ngayon, yung ini-improve sa system, kapag nag-advance booking ka na, automatically ma-open yung original mong booking. Kasi sa ngayon, ang system, bawa nag-book ka ng October, pero actually kailangan mo ngayon, so nag-expedite ka. So nabigyan na kita ngayon, pero nandun pa, naka-red pa, kasama ka pa doon sa nakabook sa October. So ngayon yung ginagawa na yung system, ini-improve na. Basta na-process ka na, whether expedite or may several. Before kasi wala din yung limitation dun sa you can book. You can book sa June, July, o lahat book mo. Walang ganun. So ngayon, isang booking, madidetect ng system na na-process ka na. So yung mga ibang movie mo, ma-open up at magiging clean. So sana maging makausod na yung ating schedule, no? Kasi based on, but definitely kasi nag-double. Kung before, like central office, if we are processing 250 before, now is 450, minsan umaabot pa ng 500. So ganun kadami, no? So, but dahil nga dun sa na-advance, nakita ko, halimbawa, ang slot ay nationwide 1,135. Pero yung actual na dumating lang sa total, bawa 1,000. So merong, kasi na lumilipat-lipat. So we'll see again, we'll change na naman next week kung ano magiging effect. But we will not stop until it is same as the certification. Kasi na-achieve ko na yun noong 2024. Hindi lang tayo nakapag-prepare dito sa dami ng mga magre-renew. So before kasi na-achieve na natin yan for the new issuances. No? Etong renewal ang medyo hindi namin napaghandaan. No? So sana maka-normalize din tayo.
Ay, sabihin, as of today, yung renewal ng SIP, relativized figures, nag-cover pa ang earlier.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, that's true. Hindi naman natin pwede pagsinungaling yan kasi pag pumunta kayo dun sa system, red ang makikita nyo. No? But if they are about to leave, they can be expedited. No? So, makukuha sila under the expedite process kung kailangan na. Kaya lang dapat matanggal namin sila yun sa mga original schedule para na-free up yung space. Kasi ang feeling ko, nagdo-doble-doble yung mga booking. Kasi surprisingly, sobrang dami. Parang hindi believable. So ngayon, may monitor ko yan every day. Ilan ba talaga ang dumadating doon sa mga naka-appointment. It appears less by 200 daily ang dumadating. So we're trying to see bakit hindi sila dumarating. So ang isa yun, yung nakakuha na pala sila earlier. So we need to change the entire computer program and system. Inaayos na nila ngayon. So baka next week ma-adapt na yun that all expedite applications kung may original appointments or regular, matatanggal na sila doon. So we will free up more spaces. Same process kasi so, mahirap ihiwalay dahil the same process. Yes, because biometrics na ang kailangan natin. Kaya kailangan mag-appear for the SID because you have to capture again your faces. The facial biometrics. Yan ay nasa ILO. Kaya kailangan siguro pala, we make representation din sa ILO kasi we are following the document 9203 ng ICAO where ang mga passport and visas nabibigay ng 10 years. Kaya bigla nagka-idea ako. So we can make representation to ILO to amend the 5 years. Study natin yun. Kasi ang ginagamit natin technical reference is the ICAO 9303 for travel documents. No? And 10 years ang mga visa at saka passport. So baka pwede, we will just adopt the same standards under ICAO 9303. So it's a good idea na reason.
Sige ma'am. In addition, we'll do concept paper on business study and we'll directly coordinate with the Department of Labor kasi nakalink tayo sa International Labor Organization in terms of the system. Salamat po.
Alright, before we end our program po today, may we kindly request everyone to gather up po para po sa group po.